Littleton, Colorado, which in popular culture is better known as South Park.
That's right. So before this trip last night, we plugged in the Fire TV and watched a few episodes to jog our brain and remind us of the South Park vibe.
We're getting our first car wash in a year because of 2 accidents that prevented us getting car washes. First hitting the deer, which he required a paint job, and that was a while he couldn't wash. And then as immediately as the lockdown ended in Seattle, we drive out of the city and a rock jumps in and cracks the windshield, so we had to change that, and that now finally is passed, so we can actually get a car wash.
Oh, it smells good.
Yeah, it's like almond.
Yeah. There it goes. It's a bit moldy.
Yeah,
If not for the smell, you'd be like, ooh.
That's what it made it smell nice.
That's true. You'd be like, is it broken?
Drove all day around Denver's neighborhoods and suburbs, and we really like this one called Golden. It looks bigger than I thought, and it's right by the mountains, but it remains independent with its own downtown, which is actually walkable, and lots of trails. So far, quite nice. Interesting place, with just steps away from downtown, and there's some kind of art center, and right beyond it, it looks like a restaurant. Sherpa house.
And just to let you know, for our menu, we have this QR code where you guys can use your regular phone camera. You scan the code and we'll give you a link to our menu. Okay.
Thank you.
Have a good evening, guys.
Thank you. Wow, great choice. Sherpa house is fitting for here because we're so high in the mountains, like Nepal and Tibet. We figured since we're so high in the mountains, we'll eat like Himalayans.
That's a good way to put it. Yes, so we got the Tibetan dumpling.
It's like a mandala.
Yeah, right?
Looks the same, but yours are combo.
Mine are combo. Yours are chicken.
I'm also having a local beer, it's good. We enjoyed our second meal here near Denver. First we had the tacos from Texas.
Torchies, yeah, those are good.
And now we
Very
had dumplings.
Yeah, we had the Tingmomo dumplings.
Today was mostly educational. We wanted to know how people live in the main area of Colorado, where just about all the population is.
Yeah.
And we drove a lot. The heat finally diminished right now. It's really pleasant.
It's actually really cloudy looking.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
Up in the mountains, yeah. Today's been quite the climb. We came in from Salida into Denver. We went all around Denver. We went to Boulder. We went to Golden and to Littleton. And now we climbed all the way to Breckenridge, which is way into the Rockies. And we still have 10 minutes more of climbing. Well, I just drove a crazy road here with Susie, and it was pretty scary for us because we're not quite Colorado people. And it just happens to be the main freeway of Colorado, 70, which is how they get between the east and west side of the state. So it's one of the scariest roads if you think about it, especially if you have to do it in winter.
It's like a 2-lane road, and not the best paved, probably because of the snow coming in and messing it up. So there's cracks all over it, it's not very smooth, and you're like right next to the rocks, and so it was scenic, but also really scary, especially if you've never driven it before. If you drive it a few times, maybe you get used to it, but if you don't know what's around the corner, it's scary.
But once you come out of all that, you go through a big tunnel, the Eisenhower Tunnel, and then you go down like crazy, and then you end up here in this area called the Summit, which is stunning, gorgeous.
Another thing that makes it scary is is like the steep grade, and you've got these giant semi-trucks on both sides. And they're supposed to be going slow, but it's still scary.
And at some point it says, truckers, don't be fooled, 4 more miles of steep grade.
I appreciated their sense of humor there, but oh my god, that was scary.
For reference, here are the elevations of the peaks we're seeing in the distance. 11,000, 14,000, 14,000, 12,000, 11, 10, 13, 13, 9, 10, 12, 11.
And so for us, Mount Rainier is our tallest peak, and that's about 14,000. So this is like a ton of Mount Rainiers, like all clustered next to each other, which is insane.
Yeah, in fact, in Colorado, there's 14,000 peaks, many of them, and in fact, 50-something of them as tall as Rainier. It's crazy. Like it's hard to put this into any context because I've never been to a place like with such concentration of mountains.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I have never felt like our car is too small like I have been here.
Yeah, just a little bit.
The state makes our car feel small.
It can do it, but it's scary.
Look, you can take a hike right up there. Let's take a little walk.
Yeah.
Trails right off the scenic area, and in fact a better vantage point for the lake. I'm getting winded. The ascent and the descent actually made my legs wobbly.
Yeah.
A lot of elevation fast changing. Nice little forest here if you want to wipe away the stress and replace it with green. Yeah, stretch your legs as well. Do a mini hike in the forest. Go back to the madness. Hello.
I was going to yell at you and tell you to keep an eye out for the moose.
Oh, that's what that is.
Well, when you walk along here and you see a pile of
I just saw it.
If you see orange poop,
Yeah,
that's moose poop.
I just saw it. It's big.
Yeah. So,
Moose poop in there.
And
I just saw it.
during our work, he likes to attack the moose.
Oh wow.
But the point being is, it's an interesting thing that goes on with moose.
Interesting.
And he's been backed down by moose, and he's backed down moose. But again, if it's a cow with calves, you might have a problem.
Oh boy.
There's some big deer up here. Everything that's wild is a little bit dangerous. So
All right.
you already knew that.
Yeah, that's for sure. Thank you very much for the warning. Thank you.
I was gonna holler at you, but I didn't think you were gonna go too far.
No, we weren't going far. Yeah, thank you. Have a good day. Well, apparently we're in moose territory now.
That's very good to know.
Yeah, and I did see droppings and they were big, and I was like, what is that? And turns out it's moose.
Oh, there we go though. Welcome to the town of Breckenridge, and wow, look at those mountains over there.
Yeah.
You're like almost at the peak.
On the right is a huge trail system.
Yeah. In fact, this whole road, there's been like a bike path. You could be biking this whole thing. That would be real neat.
Serious exploration mission today.
Yeah.
We are in Breckenridge before nightfall. We avoided night driving, which I'm very glad for.
Yeah.
And now we're strolling into town.
Yeah, we're not really sure what's here in town, but it looked like, you know, like a resort town, like a bigger version of Whistler. That's kind of what we're likening it to so far based on what we've seen. I think we're about 9,600.
Almost 10,000 feet.
Yeah.
It feels that way.
Yep.
I feel a little queasy. I'm hoping tomorrow we see it in the sun. Looks like closing time is 10 o'clock for these restaurants, which is good. It's about an hour after sunset. Here's a map of this town. It's big.
It says there are nearly 100 restaurants and night spots,
Wow.
hundreds of shops and boutiques. Very cool.
Very built up. I thought it wouldn't be this big. I thought it was tiny, honestly. On the map,
Big,
it looked tiny.
It's really big.
Welcome to the town of Breckenridge, National Historic District, 1859. That's pretty old for American standards. We're completely aimlessly roaming here, but look at what we're finding. It's like on top of a mountain there's a ferry and there's a restaurant inside. Here it is. It's a sports bar. It looks like a ferry and it's in the middle of a mountain lake. And it's surrounded by snow in June. Yeah, Colorado's developed really well. I mean, it puts Washington State to shame, honestly. And when I look at the number of tourists, it explains why. It's like 80-something million tourists last time they counted.
Sports bar.
Yeah.
Or a sports bar and restaurant on top. That's cool.
Yeah. So, how's your first impression of Breckenridge?
I love it. Looks like there's a lot to do here. And
Yeah.
I like that it's lively even in the off season of sorts. I know it's 4 seasons, but you still imagine it's busiest during the winter. But it's still really lively.
This is what we're seeing downtown Breckenridge. Very gorgeous. It's almost unreal, looking like a cartoon or a painting.
That's pretty great.
So
Amazing
cool.
environment.
So cool. And they have this sample garden made by the river here. Very nice. Here's the river on the left and the gardens in front and the mountains in the back. A perfect little river runs through downtown. It's like picture perfect with crystal clear water. And it's just as delightful as it was last night, if not more, really.
Yeah, it looks really amazing in the daytime, and the weather is pleasantly warm for being late July. We thought it might be a little chilly because it got chilly last night, but right now it's actually quite warm.
But it's also great to not be hot right now. It's just perfect. Breeze is gentle, and what is in front of us here is the Alpine Garden and the Alpine slopes. And this is what we're looking at. It's just so great. We learned that just a few days ago the downtown strip was converted into a walking zone.
That's right, so they shut down part of Main Street, closed it to cars, and a lot of the dining is spilling out onto the street, which is what I think a lot of restaurants are having to do because of COVID. They're giving people more outdoor options, which is nice because you can social distance that way.
We're strolling through Breckenridge and it seems like they mostly just reopened all the things here.
Sounds like, yeah, June 1st is when things started to reopen. And actually the resort here isn't open until July 4th, which is kind of a shame because we really want to do the gondola, want to do the ski lifts, but understandable, but they have plans to reopen July 4th.
And that's a week away.
But yeah, I look at their website is really good. I think it's probably the main tourism website here. And it looks really pro, but they've got, you know, all of the measures listed, like what's changed, what you need to be aware of, what's open, when it's opening. It's really organized.
Yeah, and what's really impressing us is on the ground they've done all the changes very quickly and they work, and it gives you a sense of confidence, but it also shows you that they're very quick to adapt and to perform. They're not really in some kind of paralysis and don't know what to do with themselves. You know, tourism is their main income and they're doing fast what they can to maintain it.
Yeah, it's really interesting because, you know, we all got hit with this pandemic all around the same time. So you can judge based on, you know, what certain states or cities have done to adjust. We've all had about the same amount of time to do it. And certain places are obviously a little bit more organized than others.
Right. Yeah, they're making it work. It gives me the feeling that these people here don't sit around and, you know, complain, say, woe is me, and what are we gonna do? They've done all the things and the place has come back to life now, altered, but good.
A good example would be, you know, like that they're not waiting for one government mandated or city mandated sign about wearing your mask. Each business here has kind of made their own. And they look really great. And people are really following, you know, the requests, and you feel pretty safe as a result.
Yeah, and they enforce them strictly. They're serious. It's good. It's good to be here.
Yeah.
Shows you that the people have the right spirit.
Right.
Yeah. Here's crepes. You want to get a crepe?
Yeah.
Alright, let's get crepes for breakfast.
Sounds good. It was just busy last night.
Yeah. Even with our tight schedule, moving hundreds of miles a day, we're still saving time for hiking, because what's the point of only driving?
That's right. So, the gobrec.com I think was the website. I think it's like the main kind of tourism website for this area, and it's very, very organized. It's super easy to find a hike, and they kind of organize it based on how much time do you have? Are you downtown? Do you want to drive somewhere? So it's called the Carter Park Trailhead, but it's also the beginning point for a lot of longer hikes. We do need to make sure that we're following the right path here. Yeah, the Snowflake Trailhead.
Nice. Here you have the warning to not crowd. Well made metal sign, not a paper one like in Seattle.
I'm telling you, the signage is great. Like, they all just kind of were like, hey, we need signage, somebody make it. It's like every little brand has their own. It's fast.
Yeah, here it tells you there are coyotes here. Do not run or turn your back. That is true. Dogs will bite you in the back. That's how the kind of animals they are.
Yes, you know.
This is what is cool about Colorado mountain towns. Immediately off downtown begin the trail systems.
Yeah, this is only like 0.2 miles away from the hotel, but since we just checked out, we drove to the trailhead, and of course there's a really nice parking lot.
Here's the signage. Dogs allowed, hikers allowed, bikers allowed. There's a difficult trail, I think that's what the diamond thing means, and tells you which way to follow. And here are the stairs they made for this. And lodges are right here. Here we have some pretty hardcore mountain bikers. Sharing the trail with bikers here, but the good news is it's no longer that steep after the staircase.
Yeah, looks like it. It's like a winding path through these trees.
Yeah.
So neat.
The maps say moderate walking path.
Yeah. I wonder if these become ski trails in the winter.
Snowshoe, I believe.
Snowshoe, yeah.
On this side and off there, yes, ski. There's a hill over here, I think the top of this one, which is almost at 10,000 feet. Which, by the way, is why we're panting so much, not because we're unfit.
It's tough. It really gets to you when you're going uphill.
Yeah, we hike a lot, but we live on the sea level, so this is a
Yeah.
bit tougher for us.
Elevation changes is tough. Takes some getting
We're walking through the forest. It says entering private property, but it does let you pass through, and in fact the trail arrows point in, and there's a little area here which
might be private,
is
but
probably
whatever.
for the cabin. Yeah, but
We're just admiring it because, yeah, look at, they made like chairs with like and little teepees. That's so cool.
yeah, they're bushcrafting here, and someone's sharing their private property and allows people to pass on the trail, which is really awesome to see. Why hoard the forest? Here they're bushcrafting, making sheds and teepees and campsites. This is the technical stuff they were warning about. But you have an alternative if you don't want to get up on it. You have 3 ways of going through, and they have difficulties. That's nice. So this is the double black diamond, which is really narrow. It's like 3 times my foot width, and it's long, so it's easy to wipe out right here. And if you stop too, you kind of start falling off it. We did manage to find a little clearing out there.
And the sun came out just as we got here.
How's your adaptation to mountain living going?
I feel better now. We must not have been climbing as hard. Those stairs were hard, but after the stairs it does even out a bit, and you get to catch your breath and you actually get to enjoy it.
This is great because normally when I go to ski resorts in the summer, you take the slopes that have the lifts, and they're really steep, and you see people going down like suicide.
Straight down, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm always like, I would never do this, but this I would actually totally do.
You can do it fast, you can actually do it slow. Like those two ladies just did it slow, and it's like you just kind of work up to your comfort level.
Yeah, it's totally fine. And then you get these vistas as you're biking down. And right down there we're in the clear, and we see the village here.